Oh, everybody. I'm so excited. David, I haven't been on here for a couple weeks. I miss you guys. I miss our audience, and I miss most of all exploring Cardi Miracle for everybody's health. So, welcome to the Cardi Miracle Q&A, and we're so excited to have all of you with us. Please post your questions. We will do our very best to answer. Of course, we always say on our call that we don't treat, cure, diagnose, but we offer solutions, I believe, so the body can do exactly what it's supposed to do. So, how are you doing tonight, David?
Good. Yeah, we did miss you, Lisa. I'm doing great. Just chugging along with the cardio miracle every single day.
Aren't we so thankful? I mean, today, we heard again some noise about some other things coming down the pike, to harm and hurt our health. And I'm just thankful every day that we can reach over and have a great big glass of our Cardio Miracle, and it can serve and bathe each and every cell in this wonderful goodness.
Yep. Restore, repair, and detoxify every cell in the body. One
You
drink.
got it. And nitric oxide, I mean, that's a really hot topic right now. I know we don't have any questions yet, but David, I'll ask you one. You have been in our armed forces. Thank you so much for everything that you've done for our country and as a veteran. How has your health transformed since you've been taking the Cardi Miracle and, anything from the PTSD to the ability to think better and have better rest and sleep?
Oh, no. Yeah, absolutely. So I was out of the military probably 5 or 6 years, and I just noticed my health was diminishing. High cholesterol, tachycardias. My sleep was like 10 and a half hours, waking up multiple times a night. So my stress levels were high, my anxiety was high. I definitely know drinking Cardio Miracle consistently has helped me regulate my sleep, not to mention the cholesterol and the tachycardias, but the sleep and the stress are the big ones, to kind of just get those energy levels back in a natural way without, using stimulants. Because coming from the military, we loved our caffeine and we would utilize
Oh,
caffeine
yeah.
as much as possible. And it got to the point where I would put caffeine in my body and I would just crash. I'd fall asleep. So
Wow.
there was obviously something not communicating in my system properly, working properly. So restoring, revitalizing, and healing my system was key. And I definitely know that working on the blood and the vasculature is so important because it runs through our entire body, our entire system, and every organ in our system is relying upon good blood flow. So if we can improve the health of that blood flow and the detoxification of that blood, we can improve many, many things throughout our entire system.
That's amazing. What was the first thing that you noticed when you started taking the Cardi Miracle? And did you take the full amount? Did you take 2 scoops a day or did you take more?
So I only did a scoop a day in the beginning because I kind of had trouble getting my hands on it, we'll say that. And but when I was able to get 2 a day, I could tell the difference in my sustained energy levels. But the first thing I actually noticed was the tachycardias because when Elizabeth gave it to me, I was having a ventricular tachycardia. I always mess that word up, which
Oh,
is 220 beats a minute out of rhythm, and I drank it, and within about 5 minutes, it regulated my heartbeat back to normal. And I have been dealing with heart conditions since I was 12 years old with Wolff Parkinson's White, also
wow.
causing tachycardias. I thought it was the same thing. It wasn't. It was extra electrical pathways in my AV node, so it would cause my heart to short circuit. And
Um,
this, the nitric oxide specifically, is the regulating molecule within our cardiovascular system. So it regulated the rhythm and the heartbeat and improved the vasculature. Now, I haven't had a tachycardia in about 5 years, but I
Wow.
know I'm not cured of it because sometimes my heart will skip and I'll go drink my glass and it'll completely cancel it out. So I know it's something I have to stay consistent on. My cardiovascular health is super important, and
Yes.
not to put fear in anybody, but it is the number one killer in the country, and it is known as the silent killer, and that's because it just
Yeah.
kind of sneaks up on us. We're not really in tune with our cardiovascular system other than, energy levels and diminished energy levels, because the oxygenation of our brain and body is super important. So if we can facilitate that oxygen with nitric oxide, that's where we're going to see the increase in energy levels as well.
That's huge. So I hope everybody picked up on that. We have a lot of veterans out there that don't have access to great nutrition. If I were, in position, I know that I've done this many times before, but purchase a product, purchase the Cardio Miracle for someone that you love that might be just, either they're just coming back out of the military, maybe they're active, maybe they're retired. I think that's the finest gift that we can give our men and women that have served our country. So thank you so much for expanding on that a little bit.
Yeah, and if you know any veterans, go check out the Combat Stress magazine article that we have at cardiomiracle.com forward
Mm.
slash studies. And, if you can understand the science, but if not, there's good backing of
Yeah,
science that supports the reduction of anxiety, stress, and cortisol within the blood. And that's through the arginine and ornithine ratios within the brain. Basically, if your brain utilizes those amino acids, you will start to feel those physiological effects of stress and cortisol much faster than if you're constantly trying to detox it out of your system. And I know, being a combat veteran, everything can kind of stress me out and release that cortisol. So I kind of want to stay on top of it.
I love that. Thank you, David. Any questions yet? Let me see.
Yeah.
Would there be any other supplements needed if taking Cardi Miracle? I told them no, but that would be a real from y'all. Okay, so I'll just kind of share a little bit about that. And that is that, in my opinion, the old time nutritional, we used to have the food triangle. We can just tip that upside down, throw it in the garbage can because it doesn't address most of our nutritional needs. But in my opinion, I think Cardi Miracle has just about everything we need. The other thing is protein. If you are taking either a protein or a collagen product, that's always helpful because we need to knit our muscles together. And I believe the Cardi Miracle works in synergy with everything that we give it. The other product I believe is an omega oil. And also, if you're doing a coconut oil, omega oil, MCT oil, something like that, again, food for your brain. And I believe it works synergistically together with the nutrition that we have in the Cardi Miracle product because it crosses the blood-brain barrier, which if you ever hear from Dr. Avery Jackson, of course, the Combat Stress article, both of those will support what we're saying. So thank you for that question. Thank you, Christina or Christine. Well, thank you, Kristen. Um, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
and
So Kristen said it worked for her tachycardias as well.
yeah, that's fantastic. So all the other people out there that are concerned about it, um, we really have the answer, I believe, to so many things that are out there. One of the questions that I had now that it's summertime, people are sharing with me, does Cardio Miracle make your body or make your skin more resilient when you're out in the sun? So I would say because it's a food, it's a whole food, a very rich nutritional food, very rich in vitamin C. There was many studies that were done on vitamin C. If you take a high incidence of vitamin C, whole food vitamin C, that your body responds positively to the sun. And it's an old wives' tale, or shall I say, new tale that people are talking about, stay out of the sun, lather on all this toxic, sunscreen. Well, it blocks the vitamin D absorption and it also adds a heavy level of chemicals to our system. So take a glass of Cardi Miracle before you go out in the sun. We also have some people that have told us that, the effects of having, being out in the sun a little bit too much, maybe some discoloration as we age, that seems to be dissipating with the Cardi Miracle.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. That was a great answer. All right. It
Thank
looks like we do actually have a question over here now. So it says, does Cardio Miracle affect the homocysteine level? If yes, what is the mechanism of it?
So I'll start, David, and then you can finish.
Okay.
But the homocysteine level is just a measurement, to put it simply, of the inflammation throughout the body. Homocysteine, if you have a very high homocysteine level, that means that you have a huge amount of inflammation in the body. And of course, that's what they usually gauge when they talk about good heart health. But nitric oxide has been known to control that for years and to be able to be of assistance to that. And we have many people that, just like you heard with David and his situation with his heart, also when we just heard, Christine as well. And also homocysteine, when you have high homocysteine, your body reacts as though you have a lot of allergies.
Mm.
So we also respond that way as well.
Yeah, and really the only thing I have to add to that is with high homocysteine levels, it can affect your nutrition or vitamin absorption.
Correct.
So, putting a lot of cardio miracle in there, detoxing the blood, it's going to help reduce inflammation around the body, so it should help those levels. We would definitely like to hear about long-term effects and positive effects that the product could have or would have on it. So we'd love to hear from you about that.
Amen. And Kelly asked, how is is the nitric oxide support your joints? Again, I believe, David, it comes right back down to the inflammation and
Hmm.
inflammatory process that's going on in the body. Also, we know that stagnant lymphs will cause a buildup
Yep.
in your joints. So it's encouraged if you listen to Dr. Hellman that we were talking about in the beginning. Dr. Hellman always encourages everybody for good joint health and overall good health is to move at least 20 minutes a day, get out in the sun and sweat a little bit, but also everything that we have in our product. We have a glutathione in the product again, which is very good for joint health, arthritis, skin health, brain health. There probably isn't anything that glutathione is not helpful for. We also know that when you have stagnant, your joints aren't moving, you have a lot of lymph buildup in your joints. That can be extremely painful.
Oh, that's great. And, we do have vasculature in our joints and our bones. So if we can improve the capillaries and the blood flow to the areas, it's going to help. It's going to help with the issue. It's also going to help reduce inflammation in the area. So yeah, it's going to be very good.
Amen.
Sorry, I'm getting kind of bogged down with questions. All right, let's move on. Linda Hatch, does Cardio Miracle help with sticky plaque in the veins? My husband took a test and his numbers of the test were high, 109 with a 0 being good and 300 being high.
I wonder what was the test that they did. Was it um
Yeah. But either way, our
either
product
way?
is going to be great for regulating all the plaques and proteins and detoxifying what's not needed in the system out of the system. And it's also going to help liver function. So that's going to improve the plaques and the proteins and the quality of the proteins that come out because we do need them in our blood. But it is about balancing those and regulating those. And like I said, nitric oxide, it's the great regulator. So it's going to go in and it's going to signal the blood and the vasculature to regulate itself.
That's
And this is
right.
going to happen through the nervous system.
Good answer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I wanted to add to your one, the lymphatic. So, and that's another thing. There is a barrier or a vasculature and veins that goes from the lymphatic from your vasculature. And this is going to be essential because it kind of secretes into the lymphs and then the lymphs will drain out. So if we can increase this, then the lymphs will drain more and we'll get better lymphatic contraction and function.
I love it. Love it.
I kind of skipped around there, but I forgot about that.
Great.
If you take more, so Jennifer asked, if you take more than one scoop per day, how often do you separate the time frame? So you don't have to separate the time frame at all, actually. You can take them all together at once. We just kind of split it up for convenience factor and because that can be a lot to consume for some people at one time because, it will add to the detoxification effects if you take it all at once as opposed to splitting it up, but it's still going to produce nitric oxide for 24 to 36 hours, scientifically proven. We have the research studies to show this while removing free radical stress from the blood. And what that's going to do is it's also going to help you sleep at night too, because you're going to get that relaxation for 24 to 36 hours. So you don't have to take it close to bed to get the positive effects for sleep. That's kind of a common misconception that people have with the product because we're not a pharmaceutical. You don't have to dose for immediate effect, although, drinking extra can kind of certainly boost you.
And then you hear Dr. Robert Scott Bell that takes it a half hour before he goes to work out. So it just
Mhm.
depends on what your activity level is. If you're going to go garden for the half a day, make sure you drink. I would take more because your body requirements are going to be more, especially if you're sweating.
Yeah, and using it as a pre-workout's great. And the only thing that I can say with that is try to be on the product a little bit because I do, in the beginning, some people have detoxification and it may not be the best for that. And somebody brought this up to me because I actually say it a lot, using it as a pre-workout. He's like, "Yeah, but you gotta be through the detoxification." I was like, "I didn't actually think about that because I've been on the product for so long." So
Right.
it's kind of a good
Right.
warning, it can
You're
be
right.
used as a pre-workout when you've got the detoxification effects.
Amen.
Right. Dane. My brother-in-law was recently in the hospital for an ER visit. After much testing and an MRI, he was told that he had viral myocarditis. He never got the death shot from COVID. Will Cardio Miracle help him?
Well, interestingly enough, um, 35 years ago, I ended up with viral carditis, and it wasn't fun. But the fun thing is the body can repair itself. So if it were me, I would take 6 scoops of the product a day so that we can definitely bathe the cells in it. That doesn't mean you have to take them all at once. I would put it in a big glass, sip it throughout the day. But because we have CoQ10 in the product and also nitric oxide, think about nitric oxide as the super bullet that will take all the nutrients to the places that they absolutely need to be. And it will take some of the stress off the heart, depending on what his injection fractions are. If he's got viral, that will repair itself eventually. But truly, to strengthen the heart, it would be the product with loaded with all these nutrients and getting that CoQ10 in there and all the other magnesium. We know that we have quercetin. Quercetin is again an antiviral. So everything that we have in the product is synergistically put together to support situations like this, and of course to give the body everything it needs to heal.
You nailed it. The magic bullet. I really like that.
I have the word picture in my brain.
I like that. It's good. Because, we talk about nutrition absorption with the product and
Yeah.
increasing that, but I like the way you put that.
Thank
All right.
you.
Oh, Linda said it was a calcium test. Yes, absolutely. We will help break down the calciums on the vasculature.
Yeah.
Vitamin D is very good at this, as well as, B12, and that's going to help kind of revitalize and remove the calcium from the blood, as well as the
Amen.
vasculature. All right. Dane again. A friend of mine had breast cancer many years ago, both breasts removed and lymph nodes in the arm also. Recently, she had some type of bug bite and her arm swelled up bad and pain in the shoulder. So great that she couldn't sleep. Will Cardio Miracle help with the swelling because of the lymph nodes have been removed? She was concerned about taking Cardio Miracle with antibiotics that were prescribed.
If it were me, I would say if it were me, because you don't treat, care, diagnose, particularly when you're talking about those type of heavy diagnoses and challenges. But truly, everything in our product have a positive effect on the body and will help to strengthen the immune system and also will increase blood flow. I think those two things are really important as she moves forward. The other thing, we have prebiotics and probiotics in our product. So if you've been on one antibiotic in your lifetime, we know that it's affected um, the alveoli and so on in our stomach, the right type of probiotic and prebiotic. So, and then now there's postbiotics. But yeah, this is the best product that you can be on. And again, folks, I just want to say from experience, the people that do the best are the ones that aren't afraid to take more, especially when you're starting. Now, see how your body does on it, but I would not be afraid to take more if you're in a crisis situation.
Okay, no, that's great. That's great.
Also, one other thing, David, I'm sure you'll agree with me, is that make sure you're drinking your water. You want to
Oh yeah.
drink because as we bring all the toxins out of the system and your body starts to repair itself, whether it be, lowering the calcium levels or whatever it might be, think about your body as you're on the 401 highway in California and you can't get off the exits because they're blocked. That's what happens to your liver and sometimes your kidneys. So if you aren't drinking water, you're not able to flush. So what I would do is take half your body in weight in ounces and drink that in water per day. So if you're 160, make sure you're drinking 80 ounces of water per day.
Yeah, I mean, we're 70% water roughly. Our bones have water,
Right.
our blood is water, our lymphatic system has water, our brain and cells
Yep.
all have water between it. So increasing water intake can definitely help. And I actually
Amen.
talked to one guy today. He was like, I don't like water. He was like, so I like Cardio Miracle. I was like,
Oh,
"Oh, yeah,
that's
tell me
great.
more." He was like, "I take 1 scoop and I put it in a full bottle and I drink it till it's gone," and he's like, "Then I do it again." He's like, "And I just do that constantly throughout the day." So,
Nice.
he's like, "I don't like to taste the water," but he's like, "This is how I get my water in," and he's like, "I get my vitamins in now, so it's perfect."
That's really good. And that brings up another point as we're going to the next question. But dehydration is a really big thing. And a lot of times it's misdiagnosed when elderly people come in with confusion and they're not doing well and their electrolytes are out of balance. They might be misdiagnosed as something else. And it might be something as simple as just being dehydrated. So
Yeah.
hydrate. So you aren't dehydrated, but I agree. Put the Cardi Miracle if you don't like the taste of water.
Yeah, we do contain a inland sea salt blend with minerals, so your body will not, have any negative reactions from drinking a lot of water. It will facilitate the water properly.
That's huge.
Okay. So, Agata, is Cardio Miracle to increase vitamin D levels in the body to a healthy level, or should you take extra vitamin D?
David, I love this question. I love it when it's asked all the time because we have had um, a mini study that we've done. And it's not a professional study, but we've had a number of people that we studied in Michigan that had tests before and after. And did you know over 88% of them, their vitamin D level went up just by taking the Cardi Miracle? Excuse me. And some of them had been on other, believe it or not, some of them have been on 40 and 50,000 IUs per week, and their vitamin D level did not go up. And David, what did we find in the study with the vitamin D?
We found that it raised your levels to what, 82 roughly, I think was the average, which is a really good level. People over 70, that's where we see significant results in reduction of inflammation around the cardiovascular system and including the reduction of cancers when we get closer to 100. So, our product is good for the bioavailability of vitamin D because it is a fat soluble vitamin. So taking it by itself, 10,000 IU, you're probably only getting a very, very small portion of that bioavailability wise. So if you can take our product with other products included in it, you'll get a higher bioavailability of the vitamin D through the fat absorption, and then it's going to assist in raising your vitamin D levels. I had a 30 and I brought mine up to an 80.
Oh,
I
that's
believe it was
so
last time I checked
good.
it. And the B12 levels sit right at 900 for me now. I didn't even look at those in the past. So, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so what is it? It's 82 nanograms. It's preventative of cancer, I believe it is. If that's the level within the blood. That's the exact thing I wanted to say.
Right. And
Okay.
vitamin D, believe it or not, nitric oxide unlocks the stored vitamin D in our cells and in our body, in our tissues. So that was exciting when that came out in the study as well.
Yeah, through the hormonal system. That's absolutely correct. Judith, can Cardio Miracle be mixed up several hours before drinking it?
I
Yes,
do.
absolutely. Um, some people like to do that and then put it in the fridge. It won't diminish it at all. You can still drink it. It's still going to be a good product. There's some people who put it in a giant bottle and drink it throughout the entire day and don't refrigerate it at all. So you're still going to get benefits. You're kind of activating it when you add the water, and
Mhm.
you know it'll be good.
Well, if anybody lives in Arizona, I'm understanding I have family that lives there today. It was 118. What my sister does is she makes Cardio Miracle ice cubes and she fills up her bottle before she goes to work and in and out of her car and with the Cardi Miracle ice cubes. And then she just adds water to that. And she just absolutely loves it. She said it saved herself. She doesn't get the cramping anymore, from the feet and the hands that you might get when it's really warm and you might get dehydrated. And then
Yeah.
you're low in potassium. Yeah, so that helps.
Yeah, I get back to hydration and drinking water. That was one thing they loved to tell us in the army. They're like, if you're have any sort of ailment, they're like, drink water. Drink water
Yeah,
first, and then drink a lot of it, and then come see us. So, drink water, stay hydrated, get the blood flow correct, and you'll see drastic results. All
absolutely.
right, Carrie Ann, is it okay to take it just once a day, or does it need to be taken twice a day for the benefits?
I mean, I think most people, if you're taking it once a day, that's fantastic. You're still getting more nutrition, in my opinion, based on probably a lot of nutritional products out there and what you might be even on it. If you're even combining some, Um, but I think again, if you can only do once a day, that's great. If you can do more, that's great as well. Pay attention to your body. See what your body needs are.
Yeah, and there are some people that are closer to 100 pounds that will still see the same amount of benefit from a serving or a serving and a half than a
Right.
typical person would see at about two. But this is what I'm going to say. You definitely want to get it in your body twice a day, and then your body's going to figure out kind of what you need for the rest. We want to get the support and the sustained nitric oxide levels up so we can remodel the cardiovascular system. And again, that's where we're going to see those drastic results. So try to drink it twice a day if you want to improve your health. And if you are okay and comfortable with where you're at in your health, then once a day.
Mhm.
And I'm not comfortable, so I'm going to drink twice a day. I'm going to try to improve as much as I can.
Well, also think about it. You know what? You go out to eat, you have a buffet of food. On that buffet might be all kinds of different things that you love to eat. Maybe someday you eat more than others, or maybe some days you might require more, right? Because you're busy, you're outside, you're grinding, you're doing all kinds of wonderful things. Well, maybe you need more on those days. Don't be afraid to take more, if you find that you need it, especially in the summer. Everybody's outside running around doing a lot of stuff. So your body is releasing a lot through your sweat and perspiration.
Yes. Yeah. Great. All right. Here, we got a question from Debbie in the chat. It says, I'm reading all over the place that creatine is important as we age. Can this be added to a serving of Cardio Miracle daily? I actually add some creatine, not daily, but intermittently. I'll add creatine to my Cardio Miracle, and it's great for cognitive function. It's good for muscle health. So yeah, absolutely add it. That's the great thing about Cardio Miracles. It's kind of just a basic balanced nutraceutical. So you can add other things that you want to focus on into the product, and we're just going to help with the nutrition absorption of the other products that you add. So if you wanted to take more vitamin D, if you take it with our product, you'll get a higher bioavailability of said product. So it can be good to add other stuff. And then we have a question over here from another one from Carrie Ann. How long after eating do you have to wait to drink Cardio Miracle? So this will just depend on what you're trying to work on. If you are working on any form of diabetes, it is okay to drink Cardio Miracle at any point in time. If you are working on more cardiovascular related blood pressure stuff, try to drink it prior. Um, what was the exact question? It's gone now.
Oh yeah. What about not mixing? There's another question there. What about not mixing
Sorry,
protein?
how long after eating do you have to wait to drink CM?
Yeah, so if you go back to it, you want to wait probably 30 minutes if you're a regular individual. If not, try to drink the Cardio Miracle prior to eating because again, nutrition absorption, you're going to get more benefit out of the food you do eat because your body's going to absorb more of the nutrition from it. So it is beneficial to drink it after for glucose levels, insulin spikes, and that sort of stuff because we have lots of reports from diabetics who drink it directly after a meal and it prevents the glucose spike from going so high or so low. Do you have anything to add to that, Lisa?
No, I think that's great. Again, if you're sitting down to a salad that doesn't have protein in it, I don't see anything wrong with drinking your Cardio Miracle with your meal. Or, maybe there's a time frame difference between you maybe have your salad and then maybe 20 to 30 minutes later you're having your protein. A lot of people do use it with their meals because they just love the taste of it.
Yes. So there are many benefits all around.
Yeah.
Can it help with CKD stage 4? I'm not familiar with CKD.
Are they talking about cardiac disease? Not sure.
Look it up.
CKD. Maybe they can spell it out. That'd be great.
If it is kidney stage 4 kidney failure, then yes, we will help with renal function and renal failure because we're going to improve the blood flow to the
Oh, there you
kidneys.
go. Yeah.
Yeah,
KC.
I actually had to look that one up. Chronic kidney disease. So yeah, we can improve the function to said kidneys. I was actually literally thinking about this today too. Like I had deep thought on the reversal of kidney disease and the different stages specifically.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
um, yeah, we would kind of like to hear how it progresses for you, but we definitely know we're going to improve blood flow, which will help kidney function, and then overall, it should help with kidney support.
Yeah, I definitely believe that when you have, depending on what stage you're at, it can be if you have the initial stage of chronic disease or is the end stage. If somebody's on um, dialysis, you want to be careful with the Cardiomiracle just because they regulate your electrolytes very, very closely. So that you want to pay attention to. But otherwise, we've had many, many praise reports on people that have had some type of, challenge with their kidneys, and they take the Cardi Miracle and they start urinating more. All their kidney enzymes come down, and they have less pain and discomfort and less puffiness. So something to consider.
Yeah, it's looking like a GFR, which would be between a 29 and a 15. So it's just says severely dysfunction. It's not kidney failure. So I believe because the kidneys and your liver, specifically the liver, is going to regenerate much faster, but the kidneys are so supportive of blood flow. And when we heal that endothelial lining with new healthy cells, it's going
That's
to
right.
eventually increase the cells around the vasculature, which are going to eventually lead into the kidneys because they are nothing but a vasculature filter. So yeah, I would love to stay in contact with you too to kind of see how it goes.
And like Mark Tan talked about, there's a fluid restriction as well. So again, I think if work with your doctor, see what their expectations are as far as your fluid and your nutrients and electrolytes.
Okay, yeah, all right. So let's see, we got some over here. Can you explain the reason for not mixing Cardio Miracle with protein? So it's really just about competing enzymatic pathways. Our
Right.
body wants to signal certain thing and carry certain signals up to our brain. And if we put too many signals in our stomach at once, per se, then we will confuse the system or we will not get the maximum utilization out of the channels that we want to produce the nitric oxide because semi-essential aminos typically will go hand in hand in a natural diet together with proteins, but we're focusing on the aspect of producing nitric oxide and not building with the proteins. So we want to produce that gas. And when we produce that gas, that's where we see the positive benefits.
Perfect.
Let's see, there's another question. I have AFib and cardiomyopathy. How can this help?
I think it's based on exactly what you said earlier, David.
Hmm.
The atrial fib, we have many people that have been atrial fib prior. We know that atrial fib is an electrical dysfunction of the heart, but we don't know sometimes, was it a magnesium deficiency? Is it something that there actually was an injury? Why does a person have atrial fib and, cardiomyopathy? But this is the best, in my opinion, the best product that somebody can take for both of those situations, hands down.
Yeah, yeah. The vitamin D's really could help with the cardiomyopathy and reducing inflammation around the cardiovascular system. Um, and then AFib, yeah, it's part of our nervous system, and our body's gonna again kind of regulate this or want to regulate this through the regulating gas in our cardiovascular system, which is nitric oxide.
Yes, right. Perfect.
Okay, see if I can find. Here we go. When can my mother stop taking aspirin and a blood pressure pill? She's been taking Cardio Miracle for a month and a half, and she still has a 160 to 190 in the morning.
I would be very careful giving any type of medical advice at that point, but I would say this is that I had high blood pressure. I'm malignant hypertension, two 214 over 114. And after 3 days, I took 6 scoops a day. And the first 3 days, the fourth day, I took four, and I remain on four to this day. And sometimes I do six if I had a busy weekend or busy day. But truly give it some more time. But I would suggest, working with your physician on this one.
Yeah, it's hard for us to tell you to come off medications, but we want you to be on the product for 90 days before
Correct.
you're kind of settled on the high blood pressure because it can take up to 90 days. We have to remember that we've spent a while making our cardiovascular system unhealthy.
That's
So,
right.
it can take a couple months to get it back to healthy, which is pretty good, with a natural product. Now, I would ask her, is she taking it twice a day and kind of make sure she's taking it twice a day? Because loading the nutrition in is going to give the remodeling phase of the system is going to be, sorry, bioloading the product is going to help with the remodeling phase of the cardiovascular system because that's where we're going to get the bringing in of the new cells to the vasculature so that they can perform a healthy job.
Yeah, please don't
Funny.
ever be afraid of taking more because this is Dr. Judy Mikovits says all the time, we're just talking about a food. There's a question here about dogs, Dave. I know that you have a dog.
Yeah.
I too, I've never given it to the dog. That doesn't mean I can't, but what are your thoughts on that?
I've given it to my dog and she was fine. There's like no negative side effects or anything. Now you have to be concerned with, does the dog have any allergies? Because the dog can't tell you how the dog is feeling when it takes it. So that's kind of my only concern there. But otherwise, it's just nutrition. The dog should be fine if you give it to him in a reduced amount based off weight. So, you know, try it out and see what happens. They're not going to like the sweetness of it. So I would suggest maybe mixing a broth or something in it or something that they might kill the sweetness a little bit.
There you go. That's great.
All right, I think we got all the questions over there. So back to Miguel really fast. Yeah, so twice a day, 45 days is where we see the cells remodel themselves once. So we want to kind of at least see that twice for 90 days. Um, Especially, if I'm assuming it's your mother, she's probably had a heart condition for a little while now.
Could be
So
for sure.
Stuart, has the formula for Cardio Miracle changed? Why was the dosage changed from 1 to 2 scoops morning and night? So really, we just changed our scoop size from 1 large scoop to 2 little scoops. It's the same amount. It's 10.5 grams. It's just under a tablespoon. Um, we didn't change the amount at all, but we did add glutathione, NAC, lion's mane, and then 2 years ago we got rid of like erythritol. So John, our founder, he's always trying to stay like up to date on the health and holistic health world and what's good, what's bad, because a lot of this stuff is just getting tested out. Like erythritol, we removed it because we found out that like, it was bad for the gut. So if we find out that something else is bad for the gut, somebody asked me today, they're like, can we put nattokinesin in the product? And I was like, it's probably not a good idea because it's going to increase blood thinning and that can have a lot of dramatic effects upon people because we don't thin the blood out. We increase blood health, increase blood
Right.
volume, oxygenation of blood and nitric oxide, and this will fix the problem. We don't need to thin the blood to fix the problem. That's just I call it a workaround, I guess. We want to actually fix blood health. So, yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Yeah.
But I think that's all the
I
questions I think we have for now, unless anybody wants to drop it in really quick. But if
Thank
not,
you, everybody, so much. And again, David is our star in customer service. Go ahead and call our customer service if you have any additional questions. I would really encourage everyone to go to our website and download our studies and have those on hand. They're so interesting and they continue to solidify our belief in the products. And go to our YouTube channel. There's tons of information there and our podcast. So we want to make sure that you understand and you receive the fact that you are really important to us and that we are a family. So communication is really important. So God bless you, everybody. Thank you so much. Look forward to the
thank you
next one.
so much.
Thank
And
you.
yes, you guys can
David?
actually see our replays on YouTube. And Judith, B12, we are a methylated B12. We will increase your B12.
Yes.
I hope that helps. If not, you can get in contact with me. You could call the 1-800 number on the bag and just ask for David, and they'll give you my number, I'm sure. And you can ask me any questions you want.
You're
Thank you,
awesome.
guys.
Thank you, everybody.